Abusiansi ebeka ya eye data ho ensensem ya sisi ano data ne bo aye dindindin ewo man mu na no ana bloggers a omo eye social media no so omo di data no ana eye adwuma omo timi eye nhyiamu ebobo kwan ya data ebetimi afaso na enne so omo be appeal to government ana say honorable Sam George na wotimi aye bibi afa ho de amaya na ye hu de ebekọ akwakosi na anche ana ni honorable Sam George timi eba bontia or the new new data bundle no prices no eba bontin any gigabyte ahodo a ewo say all the networks no omo etimi eyisu say be nyina ye ho ebetimi ahenhan ene Airtel o ma yeti asese si ano Airtel no ene wo kota obetua otua 400 cedis a kane no se na eye 92 gigabyte asi ano watre wako enimu ene watre 3 megabyte ni mu amasi ano uto data na emu ayedu kakra na eno obe make that statement no ene Ghana for bi no mo enter data kese bi tsesa no just imagine say obi ete ne mantwea na opeso onkotwa si e social media no so na age say auto data 400 cedis enye possible enti no ene Ghana for bi no police be yanka on sanemra down see the ordinary ahwasuru too much omra form na ene omo to data nkitenkete no anaso mo a omo de 10 cedi 15 cedi 20 Ghana no ontimi entwa nani emehwe wo mo na eno soso no ontimi eme breaking it down emfa emom se be ye kra na zone bando ya otwa mu nke be ya common sanso famra biem se de be ya no so betimi aboa Ghana fo bi no ma omuntimi ento data akese ni bi na obe make that statement and bloggers ni bi enso etimi asa hosting no e social media no so omo bisa no 1 or 2 questions bi and omo bisa no say enti prices here share na egusu ejina bebe fa kono wontimi enye bibi emfa ho ana ewi said the obeka say data na so beti a age say ye ma na mere edikosi say afewe ebeko na wi ansana etimi ehun sunsanso bi ewo so enti sa no imprempren ya enye omo di social media edi dwuma ewo man mu no ebi mu complain kwasisi ano oye na wo post kra na daytime no enkofo nhwe because data kro na ode kwa kwhwe no ontimi ento ente na midnight ya ayafu yi ne de okabrane atimi atena ho eno because say nani sukum nti no onhwe mane nsi eni oboso be 2 seconds bi no akoba bi foforo no akohwe bebi kakra no akohwe kakra enti na bloggers no omo complaining say affect omo business no nte be ya honorable ensanso embremu na ayenhwe se watimi abeye bi wasanso ebetimi ayebi ede aka ho amomo ebusayentie emuaye ene inchichiremu a honorable Sam George etimi ede tudwa.
Thank you very much. I think it's a fantastic question. Let me just clarify from the get-go. We have not missed any timeline. When I was vetted, at my vetting, you can go and play the tapes. I said that this year, before the end of this year, we would see a drop in data prices. That's what I said at my vetting. Now, after I assumed office, I set up a stakeholder committee, the Data Pricing Review Committee, which was made up of 23 members from different stakeholders, including bloggers, including National Union of Ghanaian Students, the Chamber of Telecoms, multiple stakeholders. They were all part of this committee. They were given a 14-day mandate to do one job, provide me a roadmap towards the reduction of data prices. That committee's job was not to reduce prices. It was to provide the roadmap. And there's a reason why I did that. I've taken a lot of flack on X and social media that I've been having, all I was doing was having meetings. Yes. It is that led to the CEOs come to sit there last Tuesday when we announced the data prices. The fact that we've been meeting and carrying them along. So the committee that we set up in February, in 13 days, submitted a report. Now that report had the roadmap for immediate short-term measures, mid-term measures, and long-term measures. And if you listen to my press conference, I said that part of the immediate things they said was that we should do a special bundle for students, only students. And in fact, when they said students, tertiary students, university students, special bundle for them, and then a special bundle for content creators. Whilst the midterm would then be you do something for all data users in the country. So immediately I started work on that. We met with the vice chancellors. Then I realized that, look, students are a critical category, but the people who use data are not only the people who are in the universities. What about those in SS? What about those who've graduated? Because then we then had to take all the student ID numbers and their phone numbers, create a database, and the moment you graduate, we said we'll give you 1 year of national service, then you are taking off that data. And I thought that that would not solve the problem. So after almost 3 weeks of working with the vice chancellors and the telcos, I scrapped that process. Because again, the question was, who is a content creator? How do you determine who is a blogger or a content creator? So we said, look, let's do something for every Ghanaian. So go back to the report. And what the report said we should do midterm, which would have been like in a year's time, let's bring it forward and see what we can do. And that's where the meeting started. Meeting with the telecom operators. Don't forget the telecom operators were part of the data review commission, a committee that I set up. So they understood the issue been raised by content creators, the issues that had been raised by bloggers, by gamers, all of those various demographics. So these meetings where we started from, I want 25% on MTN because they're an SMP, I want 20% from the other networks. And then we begin to do the simulation of, if you do that and usage goes up, what happens to quality of service? Because again, don't forget, I don't want to improve the value and reduce the price, but the quality will be nonsense. Then I have not done anything as minister. And so we began the engineering testing. You test on their systems, the MTN team will do it, then we'll get the NCA to go and verify, because this is science, this is engineering. It's not like a switch that you just turn on and off. You get it. So you need to make sure that the quality of service, how is it affected when people are getting more and spending more? What happens to quality of service? That's what then led us to say, look, the spectrum they hold now will not be able to support the additional bundles that we want to give to people, the additional bundle sizes you want to give to people. There will be a negative effect on the quality of service. So immediately we had to say to them, you have to buy spectrum. Now that becomes a whole new conversation. MTN is paying about $76 million for new spectrum from the NCA. Telecel is paying about $26 million for new spectrum from the NCA. Now, this is not cost these companies had planned to spend this year. So it takes a certain level of engagement from the ministry, led by me as minister. I had to personally sit with CEOs, not just in Ghana, but even meet with the MTN Group CEO in South Africa, meet with the Telecel Group CEO in London, to let them understand why they needed to find that money, pay for the additional spectrum, so that they do not have a reduced quality. So whilst people were roasting me, we're doing work. We needed to get them to appreciate the need for them to buy the spectrum, because they said, if you want us to give the increase, we will do the increase. But you can't blame us for quality of service. But then what will I have achieved if I had announced these bundles and quality of service becomes even worse than it is now? So we had to agree. I had to now take it to cabinet, get cabinet to approve the transaction, and then we've now offered it to them. It's part of the reason why we have said, look, it will take off from 1st of July. Because if you again listen to my press conference, I stated that we would have completed the sale of spectrum by the end of first week of July. So that by the time the bundles begin to be used and all of that, they would also begin the deployment of the spectrum. It will take them between 1 to 3 months to fully deploy all of the new spectrum. And then you will not have the crash in data quality as you do. So this is really where we've been and what we've been doing. Whilst people thought maybe Sam George was quiet, I mean, these were not things I needed to come on X and say, oh, I'm going to meet the CEO of Telecel, and so we've now reached an agreement on spectrum. Nah, I had to keep quiet, finish all of these negotiations, before I could report to the country that something. And that's why when the questions kept coming, I'll come and say, look, in a few weeks, something will happen. So that's how we've gotten to where we've gotten.
Okay.
I hope that